Hello, I'm Kathleen, your mom friend on the journey of conscious, connected living. And today I want to share the number one parenting rule we live by in our home, which is connection first, always. We'll dive deeper into what connection really means in parenting, in daily life, and in long term relationships. If I look at my life, I'm I'm all about intentional living. If you've been around for a little bit, I talk a lot about it. Last week's episode was just how we got rid of the TV screen, having no TV in our home. And if I need to really summarize our values, it's intentional living and simply living. For us, it actually goes direction minimalistic. It's intentional action, knowing that each action brings in a certain energy and a certain attracts new things into our life. It's all about creativity, joy, and abundance. And then it's connection and love. And last, I would say it's also trusting our intuition. I'm sorry, I'm strolling a pram here. My kids are sleeping, but they may not soon anymore. We'll see. But if I had to choose one core value that matters most to me and where we come from, like from the deepest, it's connection. Why? Because I feel everything, literally everything flows from here. There is connection in parenting, there's connection in your relationship to your husband or your wife or whatever, connection to yourself, your self-trust. And even in minimalism, you need to connect in what you want to have in your life or not. So what does connection first looks like in our family? The other day, was our cleaning day. We were cleaning, and I was kind of a bit ambitious of what I wanted to achieve. We wanted to travel and leave, and I also had to pack. And I was like very focused on my to-do list. And one of my kids was a little bit, getting whiny and wanting attention and didn't let me do. And I could feel like the anger kind of rise and simmer there. And I don't know, for some reason that day, luckily, it was like, I can choose now. Do I want my to-do list to be the ruler and come from the place I need to get this done, kind of get out of my way? Or can I check in with my child first, like what's going on? Why do you need and crave attention right now? And I know from experience with my kids, if I wouldn't have given it attention, this would have ended up in some sort of a meltdown or tantrum or a sibling fight. So for me, just in that moment to pause and ask, like, what is it my child right now? And what is more important? To finish my to-do list and the cleaning in the house I had planned, or actually to connect and take a little break? It's a balance act sometimes, but connection first, where my kids kind of really need me and help them through emotionally tough periods. I'll really try to be present with them. So in that realm, it's a little bit like almost like the 3 R's in parenting. I'm coming from a place to build a relationship, to have a strong relationship. Also where they can learn to regulate, the second R, regulation, learn and regulate their emotions, their feelings, and also understand them, and always coming from a place of respect. I don't feel like because I'm the parent and the grown up, I'm like top down. I see it more, they're already where they are, and I am their supporter and their support system. So for me, it's definitely not about punishment and rewards. I don't believe they work in the long term, and definitely don't raise independent, self-driven kids. That said, my kids aren't allowed to do whatever they want. I always feel like when people hear about the approach and how we let our kids self-regulate and choose for themselves a lot, it's always like, oh my gosh, you don't have any boundaries in place. It's not what it means. It just means we have a different type of how we set boundaries. It's more about, yes, setting boundaries with kindness, with connection, setting clear limits, sticking to the limits, but also explain and having value-based limits. They need to make sense. I sometimes notice, particular when, including me, when I'm tired, I start setting limits. They're asking a bit too much of the kids, and they're more to serve me, than to actually serve our values we want to live in the long term. And then it's time to just, go back. And yes, so what I'm trying to say, it's not about perfection, and I'm definitely not perfect. It's not perfect. I mess up all the time, but the intention is to come from a place from connection. And when I lost it, this is where I need to go back to. And this is also where I really want to talk about connection in a much more layered way. The first connection that I feel is absolutely crucial, and mothers, we often forget is the connection with ourselves. It's to connect to our intuition. It's kind of this belly feeling, listening to our belly, listen to how we emotionally feel, how we energetically feel. Very often, many mothers have the issue, including me, is we're going overwhelm. But when you look at overwhelm, it's something in the head. You're actually thinking, you're in overdrive and thinking, and that creates overwhelm. And to get rid of overwhelm, the easiest way, and it's not easy per se, but it's quite simple, is to get actually back into the body. So connection with yourself is absolutely crucial, and this connection with feeling aligned and following your gut. What is your gut telling you? And not waiting until you start to get sick or you're having really serious physical issues. Then the second layer for me, after I'm connected to myself, is connection in my family, to my kids, to my husband, and to our rhythm as a family and to our life. And how can I nurture and nourish that connection? Then I go a step further for me, and that's connection to nature. We are universal beings. We're on a planet surrounded by nature, and there is nothing that will ground us more, that will regulate us, that will slow us down, help us being present and settle our nervous system as nature, and looking for ways how we as a family and me as a person can connect daily to nature. Just this morning, we were working in the garden, and at the end of it, I was like, oh, we're almost ready to go in. And I was like, no, just my kids were playing peacefully with water outside. In the greenhouse I just damped my hands deep into the soil and just started breathing, and it felt so good. It just felt so nourishing that moment. I was like, thank you that I just did that because this is something we often just forget. So I'm very grateful when I do remember. And then, of course, is the connection to our community. We dream of raising our kids with others. So it starts at home, and then we'll take it further out. And this might be the bigger family, like grandparents. It might be neighbors. It might be friends, to foster that connection, and also to check in. How do I want that connection to look like? Why do I believe this matters for the long time? Well, first of all, our kids will grow up, and I feel they will soon move out. Yes, when you're in the baby years, it feels so long. But it actually, time flies by really fast. And if you have parents around you who have kids by the age of 14, 15, 16, they're all going to tell you, I should have used the time more when they were young and really wanted to spend the time with me. And when they leave, what actually remains is that connection and relationship with you. How often they will call you, how they engage with you. You lay the foundation actually in the early years. Yes, you can always make changes, but once your kids have left the house, it's just so much harder. And just recently, I was reading a study. It's done in Great Britain. I don't remember the name, which also referred to the sibling connection. They actually say kids who have a strong connection in between their siblings are in general happier, and they feel more supported throughout life. And in the study, they looked how to foster this. And they literally said, spending time together, spending quality time together, having time together. And I feel in our world with, each child in different classrooms and then having all these activities going on, we have to spend time together and connect with each other and do activities that are connecting. Does it mean playing a game, reading a book together, working in a garden together, having a project, something that connects, will actually build strong sibling relationships. And again, as the research shows, these kids are in average happier and feel more supported because they know they have each other's back. And if I need to say something, I'm actually hearing from other mothers who see my kids, many of them are actually really impressed how my kids interact with each other. That starts from sharing. If someone gets sweets, they are actually very good in sharing, and how they include each other playing and how well they play together. And I believe one of the reasons is that we always choose connection. Because when we lead with love and connection, we raise resilient humans, and that is just then their fundament from where they come and act. But connection, it's not a technique, it's a value, it's a lifestyle, which is beautiful because when you mess it up, you can jump on the train again. And yes, it does sometimes feel like the harder way. Yes, it does sometimes feel like it's the hard choice. It's easier choosing other ways, but I truly believe that in the long term, the rewards are much, much higher. So if there's one thing I hope you take from today, it's truly like connection comes first, always, all of them. Connection to you, connection to your family, or to Mother Nature. And it's not about being perfect, but it's about being present, being intentional, and at the end of the day, choosing fear over love, even on the hard days, which is a whole other episode, love and fear and how they cannot coexist next to each other. And if you're ready to take the next step toward deep connection, not just with your kids, but with yourself, I have a free gift for you. You can download my free guide, Moms Unstuck, which is designed to help you actually to discover some of your beliefs and look also what you would like to have and how to implement it in a space of peace, clarity, and connection on your motherhood journey. You can grab it right now via the link in the description. And as always, from one wild rooted mama to the other, just keep growing and glowing together.